During my brother's wedding they made me sit outside with the caterers. So I stood up, walked out, and canceled the $150,000 I'd paid for the entire reception, cake, and honeymoon. Welcome back, beautiful people. Before we begin, subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. We love seeing this community grow worldwide. I stood there in my custom dress, staring at the folding chair they'd placed outside the venue doors, next to where the catering staff was smoking cigarettes. My brother Mark's wedding coordinator, some 20-something with a clipboard, had just told me this was my assigned seat. There must be a mistake, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I'm the groom's sister. She glanced at her clipboard, then at me with barely concealed disdain. Nope. Says right here, Jasmine Carter, overflow seating outside venue. She turned away before I could respond, her heels clicking against the marble floor. I looked through the glass doors into the reception hall I'd spent months planning. Crystal chandeliers I'd personally selected hung from vaulted ceilings. White roses, imported, expensive, adorned every table. The ice sculpture of two intertwined hearts was already starting to glisten under the warm lighting. Every detail perfect. Every dollar mine. A caterer offered me a sympathetic smile as he stubbed out his cigarette. Rough day, huh? I couldn't speak. Through those doors I could see my mother adjusting Mark's tie, my father laughing with the groomsmen, my younger sister Nicole posing for photos in her maid of honor dress. The family I'd bent over backwards for. The family I'd sacrificed everything to support. And here I was, 34 years old, successful, accomplished, being treated like an unwanted guest at an event I'd financed entirely. Not just financed, orchestrated, planned, and paid for with my own hard-earned money. The caterer was still looking at me. You okay, miss? I wasn't okay. But I was about to be. 3 months earlier, I'd been in my corner office overlooking the city when Mark called. I remember the exact moment because I was reviewing quarterly reports, feeling proud of how far I'd come. From growing up in a cramped apartment to running my own marketing firm, I'd built something real. Jez, I need to ask you something, Mark said, his voice nervous. You know I'm getting married in September. Of course. I'm so happy for you and Vanessa. I meant it. Despite our complicated family dynamics, I loved my baby brother. Well, Vanessa's parents were supposed to handle the wedding, but her dad lost his job. Construction industry took a hit. He paused. They're struggling, Jez. Really struggling. And Mom and Dad, you know they don't have that kind of money. I did know. Our parents had declared bankruptcy twice during my childhood. Financial responsibility wasn't their strong suit. How much are we talking? I asked, though I already knew where this was going. The venue requires a deposit by Friday or we lose it. 15,000. His voice cracked. I wouldn't ask, but you're the only one who's made it, you know? You're successful. You've always been the strong one. The strong one. The reliable one. The one who sent money when Dad's car broke down, who paid for Nicole's community college tuition, who covered Mom's medical bills when she refused to get proper insurance. Mark, 15,000 is. Please, Jez. I'm begging you. This is my wedding. My one wedding. I'll pay you back, I swear. I should have said no. But he was my brother and I remembered him as a kid looking up to me with those big eyes. Okay, I heard myself say. Send me the venue information. Thank you. God, Jez, you're amazing. You're literally saving my life. After we hung up, I stared at my phone, that familiar weight settling on my shoulders. The weight of being the family savior. The 15,000 was just the beginning. A week later, Nicole called crying about bridesmaid dresses. Vanessa chose these designer dresses and they're $800 each. I don't have that kind of money, Jaz. I'm barely making minimum wage at the salon. Can't Vanessa choose something more affordable? It's her wedding. We can't ask her to compromise her vision. Nicole's voice turned sharp. You wouldn't understand. You're not even in the wedding party. That stung more than it should have. Why am I not in the wedding party? Silence. Then, Vanessa wanted to keep it small. Just close friends and me. You understand, right? You're so busy with work anyway. I paid for the bridesmaid dresses. 6 of them at $800 each. plus alterations. Then came my mother's call about her outfit. I can't show up to my son's wedding looking like nobody. What will Vanessa's family think? What will the guests think? I bought her a dress, shoes, and paid for her hair and makeup trial runs. $2,000. My father needed a new suit. Can't rent one, baby girl. You know how those rental places are. It's disrespectful to the occasion. $1,500 for a suit he'd wear once. Then Mark called again. The catering came in higher than expected. We need another $20,000. And the photographer wants half up front. That's $5,000. Oh, and the DJ requires a deposit. Each time I told myself this was the last request. Each time I was wrong. My best friend Keisha watched me writing checks at dinner one night. Girl, you know they're taking advantage of you, right? It's family, I said automatically. She grabbed my hand. Family doesn't treat family like an ATM machine. But I didn't listen. By August I'd paid for everything. The venue, the catering, the flowers, the photographer, the videographer, the DJ, the cake. A 4-tier custom creation that cost more than my first car. I'd paid for hotel rooms for out-of-town guests. I'd covered the rehearsal dinner. When Vanessa mentioned dreaming of honeymooning in Bali, I'd booked their 2-week stay at a 5-star resort. $150,000. I kept a spreadsheet watching the number climb, telling myself it was worth it to see my brother happy. My accountant, David, called me into his office. Jasmine, we need to talk about your finances. These withdrawals for the wedding, they're significant. You're depleting your emergency fund. It's fine. I'll rebuild it. You've also postponed buying your house. Again. He looked at me over his glasses. May I speak candidly? This is financial self-sabotage. It's my brother's wedding. It's one time. Is it? He pulled out a file. In the last 5 years, you've given your family over $300,000. Not loaned, given. They've never paid you back. Not once. The number hit me like a physical blow. $300,000. I could have owned my dream house outright. Could have expanded my business. Could have. I pushed the thoughts away. Family takes care of family. David closed the file. Just promise me you'll set boundaries after this. Please. I promised. But even then, I didn't believe it would be necessary. The week before the wedding, I went to the final planning meeting. Uninvited. I'd paid for everything, but apparently my presence wasn't required for decisions. When I arrived, I found my mother, Vanessa, and Nicole huddled around table arrangements. Jazz, what are you doing here? My mother asked, surprised. I'm paying for this wedding. I thought I should be involved in the final details. Vanessa exchanged a look with my mother. We have it handled. I stayed anyway, pulling up a chair at the table covered in seating charts, flower samples, and menu cards. My mother shifted uncomfortably, sliding papers around as if hiding something. So, I'd love to see the final seating arrangement, I said, reaching for the chart. Nicole quickly covered it with her hands. It's still in progress. We're not ready to share it yet. Something in her voice made my stomach drop. Nicole, move your hands. Jazz, don't be dramatic. Move your hands. Slowly, reluctantly she did. I pulled the seating chart toward me, my eyes scanning the names. Head table. Mark, Vanessa, Nicole, best man, groomsmen, bridesmaids. That was expected. Parents table. My mother, father, Vanessa's parents, her aunt and uncle. Reasonable. I kept searching. Table 1, Table 2, Table 3, friends, extended family, Vanessa's coworkers. Table 4, 5, 6, more friends, Mark's college buddies, distant cousins I'd never met. Table 7, overflow seating outside the main venue. And there, in neat handwriting, Jasmine Carter. What is this? My voice came out quiet, dangerous. Now Jazz, before you get upset, my mother started. I'm seated outside? With overflow? I'm your daughter. I'm Mark's sister. Vanessa spoke up, her tone defensive. It's not personal. We had limited space and you're not in the wedding party, so. I paid for this wedding. The words exploded out of me. Every single thing you see here, I paid for it. The venue you're holding it in, the food you're serving, the flowers on every table. Me. And we're grateful, my mother said sharply, but this is Mark and Vanessa's day. It's not about you. I'm not trying to make it about me. I'm asking why I'm seated outside like a stranger. Nicole rolled her eyes. You're always so dramatic. It's just a seat. Just a seat, I repeated, my voice hollow. Vanessa stood up. Look, Jasmine, I appreciate everything you've done, but this is my wedding. My vision. And frankly, your energy lately has been really negative. We thought it would be better. Better to hide me. To not have you hovering, Vanessa finished. I looked at my mother, waiting for her to defend me, to say this was wrong. Instead, she adjusted her new diamond bracelet. A gift from Mark that I knew he'd bought with money I'd lent him months ago. Sweetheart, you have to understand. Vanessa's family is very traditional. They have certain expectations about appearance and presentation. My mother wouldn't meet my eyes. Appearance and presentation, I repeated slowly. Say what you mean, Mom. Fine. Nicole threw her hands up. You're successful, you're always talking about your business, your achievements. Vanessa's family already feels insecure about not being able to pay for anything. Having you front and center, constantly reminding everyone that you funded this whole thing. It's uncomfortable. I never mentioned paying for anything. Not once. You don't have to mention it, Vanessa snapped. Everyone knows. And quite honestly, it's embarrassing for Mark. His big sister having to pay for his wedding because he can't afford it himself. Can you imagine how that makes him feel? The room spun. So I'm being punished for helping? No one's punishing you, my mother said wearily. We're just trying to keep the peace. Vanessa's mother is very sensitive and... Where is Mark? I interrupted. Does he know about this seating arrangement? Silence. Then Nicole mumbled. It was his idea. The words hit like a slap. What? He thought it would be easier, Nicole continued, speaking faster now. Less tension if you weren't in the main room. You know how you get sometimes, Jazz. All intense and focused on details. This is supposed to be fun, not a business meeting. I stood up, my legs shaking. How I get? Because I care about things being done right. Because I have standards. Because you make people feel small. Vanessa exploded. You walk in with your designer clothes and your expensive car and your big office, and you make everyone feel like failures. We get it, you're successful. You don't need to rub it in our faces. I have never. You do it just by existing, she continued. Do you know what it's like listening to Mark's mother talk about how her daughter runs her own company while I'm just a dental hygienist? My mother finally looked at me, and what I saw in her eyes broke something inside me. Not love. Not pride. Resentment. Your father and I have talked about this, she said quietly. You've always been different, Jazz. Ambitious, driven. We're proud of you, but sometimes it's hard being your parents. People compare your siblings to you constantly. Why can't Mark be more like Jasmine? Why doesn't Nicole have Jasmine's work ethic? It creates tension. So this is my fault. I'm supposed to apologize for working hard. No one's asking you to apologize. My father's voice came from the doorway. I hadn't heard him enter. But you could be more mindful. More humble. Family harmony is important, baby girl. Family harmony, I repeated. Is that what we're calling this? You take my money, exclude me from the wedding party, seat me outside, and I'm supposed to be humble about it. We didn't take anything, Mark said, appearing behind my father. His wedding was in 5 days, and this was the first time he'd faced me in weeks. You offered to help. You begged me. You called crying about losing the venue. I asked for $15,000 for the deposit, he shot back. You're the one who insisted on paying for everything. You made it into this big gesture so everyone would know how generous you are, how you saved the day. Well, congratulations, Jazz. Everyone knows. And now you want to hold it over our heads. I felt like I was drowning. Hold it over your heads? I never mentioned it. You didn't have to, Vanessa said coldly. It's in every look, every time someone thanks you. You love being the savior. It makes you feel important. Get out, my mother said suddenly. Jazz, you're upsetting everyone right before the wedding. This negativity is exactly why we made the seating decision we did. This is a planning meeting for a wedding I paid for. And we're grateful, my father said, his voice hard. But gratitude has limits. You're causing a scene. I looked at each of them. My mother, father, brother, sister, future sister-in-law. 5 people who should have loved me, protected me, valued me. Instead, I saw irritation, resentment, and impatience. Keisha was right, I whispered. What? Nicole asked. Nothing. I grabbed my purse. I'll see you at the wedding. The morning of the wedding, I woke up with a pit in my stomach. I'd barely slept, replaying that confrontation over and over. Part of me wanted to skip the entire thing, but I'd made a promise to Mark. Despite everything, he was still my brother. I'd commissioned a custom dress, emerald green silk that cost $3,000. I'd wanted to look beautiful, to feel confident. Now, getting ready in my apartment, I felt ridiculous. All this effort for people who were hiding me outside. Keisha called while I was doing my makeup. You okay, girl? I'm going, I said firmly. I'm not going to let them see me hurt. Jazz, you don't have to. I'm going. The venue was 40 minutes away, in a restored mansion with gardens that looked like something from a fairy tale. I'd chosen it myself, spent hours with the coordinator ensuring every detail matched Mark's dreams. He'd wanted something elegant, timeless. I'd given him that. When I arrived, guests were already streaming in, dressed in their finest. I recognized some faces. Aunts and uncles who'd never returned my Christmas calls, cousins who only reached out when they needed something. They nodded at me, friendly but distant. Inside, the venue was breathtaking. Those crystal chandeliers I'd selected cast prismatic light across the space. The white roses perfumed the air. The ice sculpture stood proud in the center, catching rainbow refractions. My work. My vision. My money. And then the coordinator with the clipboard appeared, her smile plastic and practiced. Miss Carter? I need to show you to your seat. Of course, I said, assuming she'd lead me inside. Instead, she walked toward the back door. Outside, the overflow area, was a covered patio with folding chairs and a view of the dumpsters. The catering staff was setting up their station nearby, and someone was smoking a cigarette by the service entrance. The coordinator gestured to a chair. You'll be very comfortable here. Someone will bring you a plate during dinner service. That's when something inside me snapped. I stood there for a long moment, staring at that folding chair. Through the glass doors, I could see everything I'd paid for, everything I'd sacrificed for. And I realized something with perfect crystalline clarity. I was done. Not just with this wedding. With all of it. The endless giving, the thankless sacrifice, the expectation that I would always be there with my checkbook and my silence. I pulled out my phone and called David, my accountant. Jazz? Aren't you at the wedding? I need you to do something for me. Right now. My voice was steady, calm. Cancel everything. What? Every payment I've scheduled for this wedding. The final vendor payments, the hotel room charges, the honeymoon resort. Cancel all of it. Jasmine, those are contractual obligations. There will be penalties. I don't care. Cancel them. No. While I have you on the phone. I heard him typing. The venue, the caterers, the cake, the photographer, the florist, the DJ, the hotel blocks, the resort in Bali. Jazz, this is going to create chaos. Good, I said. That's exactly what I want. The vendors will shut down service immediately when the payments bounce. This wedding is happening right now. I know. More typing. Then David's voice, quieter. It's done. Everything's cancelled. The charges will be reversed within the hour. You'll have your $150,000 back minus the penalties for early cancellation. You're looking at about $20,000 in fees. Worth every penny. Thank you, David. I hung up and walked back toward the entrance. The coordinator was talking to a caterer, both of them laughing about something. Inside, I could see guests taking their seats. The ceremony would start in 30 minutes. I pushed through the doors and walked straight to where my mother was fussing with Mark's boutonniere. Jazz. She looked surprised. I thought you'd be outside. I need to talk to Mark. Alone. We're about to start. Now. Something in my voice made Mark look up. Mom, give us a minute. She left reluctantly, shooting me warning looks. Mark straightened his tie, nervous. What's wrong? Are you okay with the seating? Because I can ask Vanessa too. I canceled everything, I said simply. He blinked. What? The payments, I continued, my voice perfectly level. Every single one. The venue, the caterers, the cake, the photographer, the DJ, the flowers, the honeymoon. All canceled. The charges are being reversed as we speak. Mark's face went through several shades of pale. That's not funny, Jazz. Do I look like I'm joking? You can't, that's not. The wedding is happening right now. Is it? I glanced around at the venue that wouldn't be his much longer. Because I'm pretty sure venues require payment. And I'm pretty sure I just stopped that payment. Why would you do this? His voice cracked, rising. You're destroying my wedding. No, Mark. You destroyed it when you decided to seat me outside with the caterers. When you let Vanessa and Mom and Nicole treat me like garbage. When you took my money and my time and my love, and gave me nothing but contempt in return. We gave you a seat. We invited you. I laughed and it came out harsh. You gave me overflow seating. Outside. Away from the family. At the wedding I paid for entirely. You offered to help. I offered to pay the venue deposit. $15,000, Mark. Not $150,000. Not everything. But you kept asking and asking and asking, and I kept giving because I love you. Because you're my brother. Because I thought family meant something. Vanessa appeared, her wedding dress rustling. What's going on? Mark, why aren't you at the altar? Guests are. She saw my face and stopped. What did you do? She canceled everything. Mark shouted. All the payments. The whole wedding. Vanessa's face went from confused to furious in seconds. You what? You can't do that. This is my wedding day. It was your wedding day. Paid for with my money. Money I've now taken back. You vindictive. Vanessa started toward me, but Mark grabbed her arm. My mother rushed over, my father behind her. What is happening? Why is everyone shouting? Your daughter just ruined the wedding. Vanessa spat. I didn't ruin anything. I simply stopped paying for my own humiliation. My father's face hardened. Jasmine Marie Carter, what have you done? What I should have done months ago. Set a boundary. The venue coordinator burst through the doors, her clipboard clutched to her chest, face red. Mr. Carter, we have a serious problem. Your final payment just bounced. Our policy is clear. No payment, no service. I'm going to have to ask you to vacate the premises. There must be a mistake, my mother said desperately. We paid. Jasmine paid, I corrected. And now she's unpaid. The wedding is over. Mark turned to me and I saw something break in his face. Not anger anymore. Panic. Raw, desperate panic. Please. I'm begging you. Don't do this. Fix it. Call them back. I'll move your seat. You can sit anywhere you want. Front row, head table, anywhere. It's not about the seat, Mark. It's about respect. Something this family doesn't seem to understand. We respect you. Nicole had appeared, tears running down her face, ruining her makeup. We love you. No, you don't. You love my money. You love what I can do for you. But me, the actual person, you're embarrassed by me. You resent me. You wanted me hidden away so I wouldn't make anyone uncomfortable with my success. The caterers were starting to pack up their stations. The DJ was unplugging equipment. The photographer was arguing with someone on his phone. Guests were murmuring, confused, sensing something was terribly wrong. Vanessa's mother rushed over, her face mottled with rage. What is the meaning of this? Where is the food? Why is the staff leaving? Ask Jasmine, Vanessa said bitterly. She decided to destroy our wedding because we hurt her precious feelings. Hurt feelings. I turned to Vanessa. You told me I make people feel small just by existing. You said I rub my success in everyone's faces. You seated me outside. And when I dared to be upset about it, your response was to tell me I'm the problem. You are the problem. Vanessa screamed. Everything is always about you. Your money, your business, your achievements. Did it ever occur to you that not everyone wants to hear about how successful you are? That some of us are struggling? That some of us didn't get every advantage handed to us? Handed to me? I felt my own voice rising. I put myself through college working 3 jobs. I built my business from nothing. I earned everything I have. And you never let anyone forget it, my father said quietly. His words hit harder than Vanessa's screaming. Every conversation, Jazz. Every family dinner. My new client, my expansion plans, my investment portfolio. You made us all feel like failures. I was sharing my life. That's what families do. You were bragging, Nicole said. Constantly. And then you'd turn around and help us, writing checks like you were so much better than everyone else. You asked for help. All of you. Constantly. Because you made it clear that's all you're good for, my mother said, and her words made me step back physically. You don't know how to just be present, Jazz. You don't know how to just love without making it transactional. Every dollar comes with a reminder of how much you've sacrificed, how hard you work, how successful you are. That's not true, I whispered, but even as I said it, doubt crept in. Had I done that? Had I made them feel small? It is true, Mark said, his voice broken. Do you know what it's like being your brother? Everyone comparing me to you since we were kids? Why can't you be more like Jasmine? Jasmine got straight A's. Jasmine got a scholarship. Jasmine started her own business. I can never measure up, Jazz. Never. I never asked you to measure up. I just wanted you to try. To care about something besides the easy path. See. Vanessa gestured at me. Even now you can't help yourself. You have to get that dig in. You have to remind him he's not good enough. I looked around at all of them. My family, these people I'd loved and sacrificed for, and I saw the truth in their faces. They really believed this. They really thought I was the villain in this story. You know what the saddest part is? I said quietly. I would have done anything for you. All of you. I did do everything for you. And it was never enough. Because you didn't want my help. You wanted me to be less. To be smaller. To diminish myself so you could feel bigger. That's not fair, my mother protested. Isn't it? You took my money happily enough. But actually being proud of me? Actually celebrating my success? That was too much to ask. Guests were leaving now, confused and whispering. Vanessa was sobbing in her mother's arms. Mark stood frozen, his boutonniere wilting in his hand. My father wouldn't look at me. Nicole had turned her back entirely. Only my mother met my eyes, and what I saw there was complex. Guilt, anger, sorrow, and something that might have been understanding. Too late, but there. What do you want from us, Jazz? She asked tiredly. An apology? Fine. I'm sorry we hurt your feelings. I'm sorry the seating arrangement upset you. Can you fix this now? Can you save the wedding? You still don't get it, I said. This isn't about the seat. This isn't about the wedding. This is about 28 years of being the family's bank account. The reliable one. The strong one. The one who doesn't need anything because she has everything figured out. You do have everything figured out, Nicole muttered. No, I don't. I'm lonely, Nicole. I'm exhausted. I work 60-hour weeks to build something that matters, and you know what I wanted? I wanted my family to be proud of me. To see me. Really see me. Not my bank account. Me. We do see you, Mark said desperately. Please. I see you. You're my sister. My big sister. I love you. Do you? Because it doesn't feel like it. Feels like you love what I can provide. And the moment I couldn't provide it exactly how you wanted, I became disposable. The venue coordinator approached again, apologetic but firm. I'm sorry, but we really need everyone to leave. We have another event this evening. There is no event, Vanessa said bitterly. She destroyed it. I turned to walk away and Mark grabbed my arm. Wait. Please. What do I do? The guests are here. Vanessa's family flew in from 3 states. We can't just not get married. You can go to the courthouse, I said gently, removing his hand. That's what people do when they can't afford big weddings. They get married anyway because the marriage is what matters. Not the party. Not the ice sculptures. Not the imported roses. I wanted this day, he whispered. I wanted it to be special. I know. But you wanted it more than you wanted your sister. So now you have neither. I walked toward the exit, my heels clicking on the marble I'd paid for. Behind me, I heard Vanessa wailing, my mother trying to calm everyone, voices raised in argument and recrimination. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. It was beautiful. I'd been so focused on the wedding, I'd forgotten to notice the world around me. My phone rang. Hey, I answered. Are you okay? You sound weird. I just canceled my brother's wedding. The whole thing. Silence. Then, good. Come over. I'm making dinner. Real dinner, not that fancy restaurant stuff. Just comfort food and wine and your best friend who actually loves you. I started crying then, standing in the parking lot while my family's world collapsed behind me. But they weren't tears of regret. They were tears of relief. Of grief for what I'd thought I had and never did. Of mourning for the family I'd wanted but never really had. I'm on my way, I said. As I drove away, I didn't look back. Sometimes love means knowing when to leave. Sometimes strength means stopping the cycle. And sometimes the family you need isn't the one you're born into, it's the one you choose. I never spoke to any of them again. Mark and Vanessa got married at the courthouse 3 days later. No honeymoon. No reception. Just them and a judge. My mother called once 2 weeks later. I let it go to voicemail. She said I'd torn the family apart. That I was selfish. That I'd regret this. But 6 months later, sitting in my new house, the one I bought with the money I'd saved, I didn't regret anything. I regretted the years I'd spent trying to earn love from people who weren't capable of giving it. The lesson wasn't about standing up for myself at a wedding. It was about understanding that you can't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. That sacrifice without reciprocity is just self-destruction. That sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. I built a life after that. A real life, with friends who celebrated my success, with boundaries I enforced, with self-respect I'd earned. And it was smaller, quieter, lonelier sometimes, but it was mine. Truly mine. And that was enough. If you've ever felt like the family ATM or struggled with setting boundaries with people who only see your value in what you can provide, drop a comment below. You're not alone. And remember, family is who loves you, not who uses you. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about finding strength, setting boundaries, and choosing yourself. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your story matters, and so do you.